Good day to all. Welcome to Extreme Recap. A group of mercenaries must band together when they discover a mysterious orb containing one of the Infinity Jewels to stop Thanos, who wants to destroy the galaxy as a whole, using the object. Today, we'll go over the events of the 2014 movie Guardians of the Galaxy, which took place in a hospital. When Peter Quill's grandfather arrives to take him to his mother's room, where she is about to lose the fight against cancer, Peter Quill is listening to music in the waiting room. The kid's mom chooses to give one final present to her child and gives him a container, requesting that he open it solely after she leaves. Basically weak, the lady loosens up her arm and requests that Peter hold her hand, yet the kid can't and simply watches until she kicks the bucket just before his eyes, incapable to trust it. Peter runs out of the hospital and kneels in the middle of the street to cry. However, an alien ship takes him away from the world and abducts him. A planet called Morag Quill, which has been abandoned for 26 years, investigates some ruins. Using the Walkman that his mother gave him to listen to music. Performing absurd dances in front of the few creatures that remain in this location. Peter finally locates the magic orb he sought after a long search. Yet, when he contacts the Circle, another boat lands in the world, and fighters landed to take the item, getting some information about the sphere and what he is doing there to Peter. Escape the situation. He says that he is only a trash specialist and that he tumbled to the planet unintentionally. But the soldier doesn't believe him and says he'll take him to talk to Ronan, his leader, because he knows he won't be able to get away with it. Quill reveals that he is the legendary Star-Lord, a marauder who is well known throughout the galaxy, and that he is also known by another name. However, Roman soldiers have never heard of this name and want to take him regardless of other options. Pateri shoots the guard as he turns around and eliminates the two minions. However, the officer figures out how to get by and gets up to retaliate, almost handling a deadly shot on Plume to get away. The Star Ruler rests on the ground and uses the engines in his grasp to take off from the unwanted rhythm. As other soldiers attempt to hit him, he is running toward his ship. Peter tosses a gravity bomb close to the gatekeepers and exploits the way that they are adhered to the ground to bounce on the wing of his airplane, sliding straight into the cockpit. The soldiers were able to break free at this point, deactivating the bomb and setting up a futuristic minigun that almost hit its target. However, Peter is able to avoid it at the last moment. All things being equal, Roman's men keep terminating at Plume, who figures out how to evade it, yet is hit by a warm stream that sends his boat tearing upwards, falling wildly, as soon as the water jet stops moving. Within a few feet of crashing to the ground, Peter manages to reverse the vehicle. Peter receives a call from Yandu, the leader of the marauding group that kidnapped him when he was still a small child, recruiting him for the team, allowing him to safely escape Morag as soon as he leaves the planet's orbit. Enraged at Quill. The man says that he has shown up in Morag and that the Circle is no longer there, requesting that Peter pass on his area and convey the thing. However, as he refuses, the call ends and offers 40,000 units to whoever brings it back alive a few light years away on the dark ester of the Kree warships as a reward. Ronan receives his men, who report what happened on Morag and reveal that they have discovered that the Star-Lord intends to deliver the orb to a broker, a middleman, armed with this data. Nebula is requested to return the orb to Xandar by Ronan. Gamora, on the other hand, offers to accompany her sister because she is familiar with the planet, receiving permission to retrieve the orb and deliver it to her from the Kree dictator. Xandar and Thanos. Peter is chatting with an alien while two bounty hunters are looking for a new target. Cresting their advantage in the 40,000 abundance, uninformed about the quantity of individuals who need to get it. Peter goes to the representative and gives him the sphere, educating him regarding the experience he had with Roman warriors. After hearing the Krie's name, the representative will avoid the exchange and returns the enchanted sphere, removing him from the store while saying he would rather not excite Roman's rage. Outside, Peter meets Gamora and begins to make casual conversation, attempting to win the little girl of Thanos without envisioning that she is there to kill him. While Quill is demonstrating, Gamora steals the orb and kicks the human in the stomach, causing him to scream in pain. She then runs away with the artifact to stop the woman from fleeing. Gamora is knocked down to the ground when Peter throws an optical wire that catches her leg, letting him run to get the object. However, the Thanos daughter manages to break free as he approaches, landing a second blow on the man, launching a series of punches and kicks. while both are still on the grounds. In the field, the woman defeats Peter and performs better in combat after receiving training from the Mad Titan himself. However, just as she is about to kill him, the two bounty hunters appear and save the human, declaring that they will only be paid the reward if he is delivered alive. While immobilizing Gamora, Rocket requests that gathering tie Peter up and place him clinched. However, the tree becomes disoriented and entangles the woman in its roots, allowing the Star-Lord to escape with the capsule to obtain the object. Gamora nibbles Rocket's paw and discards him, tossing a blade that thumps the circle right no longer any of Plume's concern, permitting all her the curio. However, Peter refuses to accept a theft and leaps at her with all of his might, attaching one of his thrusters to her leg, which thinks he has one and starts to fly around wildly. The man lets his guard down, and Groot takes him and starts carrying him away. However, Gamora is already back in action and cuts off the wooden Gulliver's arms, allowing her to reach Quilly's bag, immediately upon touching the fabric. She is completely abandoned when Peter fires his stunned gun, permitting him to run with the Metropolitan hand. But the mutant raccoon won't let him go, so it shoots an energy ball at his back and sends him flying. Raccoon starts boasting about having escaped from 22 different prisons as the Nova, the troop in charge of policing this planet, appears and takes them all to the prison where interplanetary criminals are held in line for inspection, saying that he is now devising a strategy for everybody to get away. However, Gamora says she has little to no faith in lawbreakers, causing the mutant raccoon to inquire as to why she collaborates with Thanos and Ronan. After that, Gamora reveals that she would betray them and keep the orb because she has a buyer who is willing to pay a lot of units for it. The four mercenaries accept their fate and go to the courtyard, where everyone seems to want Gamora's head because many people blame her for the destruction caused by Ronan and Thanos because she worked with them. At the moment, one of the prisoners comes up to Peter and starts undermining him, saying that he will transform the human into jam on the off chance that he doesn't comply. While Rocket makes it abundantly clear that the bounty on Quill's head is solely theirs. Groot defends his target by lifting the bully by the nose. A couple of hours after the fact, each one is sleeping, and Peter awakens to the shouts of Gamora, who is being moved by certain detainees concerned. He gets up and starts following the group into the locker room, where Drax the Destroyer asks to be given the honor of killing the woman. Gamora disarms the aliens and places the knife against Drax's neck, claiming that she is not related to Ronan. She also claims that Ronan has eliminated his entire family and that nothing could be more just than for him to kill someone who is also close to the crew. After Orthodox drops the knife, Peter decides to interfere and tries to persuade the B-series Hulk to let go of his wife by claiming that keeping Gamora alive will only make it easier for him and Roman to meet since his primary objective is to kill Roman. Since the Kree dictator will soon approach her and demand the orb back, the human drags persuade him to release the woman and allow her to leave, leaving her alone with Peter, who, despite Gamora's lack of trust in them, tries to determine to whom she will sell the orb. She informs them that she has discovered a buyer who is willing to pay 4 billion units for the artifact. So, if Rocket succeeds in freeing them from prison, she promises to take them to the buyer and divide the proceeds equally among them. From his vessel, one of the Phonospectors calls Ronan and asks him to come to the sanctuary to talk as soon as he gets there. He tells the crew that he has learned about Gamora's betrayal and begins to complain to the insane Titan. Yet, as the Phantom is left replying in Thantos' place, Ronan breaks his neck, leaving Cloud dazzled with his mental fortitude in resisting his dad. As of now, the distraught Titan at last turns his privileged position and starts to embarrass the Kree despot, saying that he is only a ruined youngster who has neglected to keep the Moor's dedication. Despite this, Fano asserts that he will uphold his end of the bargain if Ronan returns with the orb. However, if he does not return the following time, the Titan promises to splatter the sanctuary floor with his blood. Back in the kiln, Rocket makes up an arrangement and requests that Gamora get the entrance wristband from one of the gatekeepers, permitting them to open every one of the entryways in the spot. What's more, the raccoon says that they should get the battery that is in one of the caution frameworks, as the item will permit them to enter the Order Tower. Rocket, on the other hand, asserts that they must still devise a strategy for obtaining the battery without being randomly discovered because the item is exposed in the middle of the cafeteria. The wooden bellhop only realizes that in order to get something from the box, he needs to stretch his body. A number of drones are dispatched to the cafeteria and begin firing at the group in an effort to get the group to release the battery after removing the security cover in front of everyone and activating the alarm with the alert signal. However, because it is entirely made of wood, the mutant creature does not suffer any harm, and the guards use their most potent weapons to advance toward the cafeteria to put an end to the rebellion. However, Trax makes the last-ditch decision to assist them and eliminates the prison guards, delivering one of the weapons to the raccoon's hands so that he can fight as well. Now that G-Root has stopped the secrecy of the arrangement, Gamora hurries to the watchman and requests that he hand over the wristband. But when he says that the object is attached to him, the woman doesn't hesitate to break his arm and take him to the raccoon in the watchtower, where the 5 storms were gathered. The spot, and discard the gatekeeper, removing the prison's artificial gravity and taking control of the cabin, preventing the soldiers from continuing to fire at them fully in control. The drones are attached to the cockpit by Rocket, who uses them as thrusters to get them out of the kiln. However, they crash close to the exit and have to run to Peter's ship in the room where the prisoners' belongings are kept. The Quinta returns the orb and all of their possessions, but Quill discovers that his Walkman is missing and orders his companions to move on while he returns the cassette player and all of his gear. Peter dispenses with the gatekeepers en route until he arrives at his valuable Walkman, recovers the item, and utilizations his engines to travel to his airplane. Inside the vehicle, Gamora claims that she is also unaware of what is contained within the orb and informs the buyer that they are coming, despite the fact that Ronan is already on Kiln, in an effort to retrieve the object at any cost. The reprobate requests Cloud to send a necroboat to each edge of the world searching for Gamora. Furthermore, since he doesn't maintain that Nova should understand what he is searching for, Ronan orders his men to annihilate the jail with each one inside, trying not to abandon any follow in no place. Which is the severed head of a Celestial. When the Guardians of the Galaxy arrive at the Collector's Bar, the Drags and Rockets become so engrossed in themselves that they fight outside. Peter observes Drags beating the crap out of groups and runs to try to separate them, realizing that they started it all by calling Raccoon a monster. The raccoon mercenary is reassured when Quill asks him to think about how rich they will be after selling the orb, realizing how much this offends him. At this point, one of the Collector's servants goes to the bar and calls Gamora to negotiate, but they leave and drag Gamora behind, who then calls Ronan and tells him where he is at the nearest radio station. The Guardians of the Galaxy meet the Collector, who explains that, even before the universe was created, they planned to bring him here in order to finally exact revenge on his family, unaware that they had been betrayed. After the Big Bang, there were 6 singularities that transformed into gems, concentrating all of the power of the cosmic explosion into tiny jewels that could shape reality. The Infinity Jewels, according to the Collector, can only be carried by extremely powerful beings, giving them the ability to demolish entire civilizations. Finally, he asks them how they would like to be compensated and reveals that the orb is nothing more than a container for the power gem. However, while he acquires the units, his servant tells her that she is sick of this life and that she should touch the jewel. The power consumes her body and cosmic fragments fly everywhere, destroying the place in the woman's body, following the explosion. Gamora suggests that they deliver the artifact to the Nova troop after putting the jewel back in the orb. Ronan, however, challenges by arriving with his crew army before they can leave for nowhere. The Guardian is completely overcome, despite all of his rage. He has no chance against Thanos' Herald. Gamora and the others steal some industrial ships and begin to flee from Nebula and her army of Negro ships, unable to land a single punch as Ronan humiliates Trax. However, due to the lack of weapons in the capsules they have taken, Rocket arrangement is to in a real sense toss the vehicles at the spring while Gamora attempts to escape with the circle. Peter is able to board one Necro. Ships and Roman weapons are used to take control of his army, which is completely surrounded. She tells her Fano daughters that she won't be able to get to Quill's ship, so she decides to leave nowhere with the industrial capsule because, from the outside, she thinks she will have more room to move around without losing them. But this doesn't work, and Nebula hits her, causing the car to explode and allowing the orb to be taken by the Dark Aster at the Collector's Bar. Drax is taken out and tossed into a pool brimming with heavenly blood. Ronan decides to return to his ship after Nebula informs him that she has obtained the orb, letting drag his body gradually suffocated. Gamora's body begins to freeze just as the villain is leaving in the vacuum of space, and Peter decides to fly there to save her. He tells the marauders where he is and leaves the capsule, puts a mask on the woman, and waits until the Yandu men come to capture him. Close to the bar, Rocket lands on Drax's side and puts the fault for everything on him, calling for Gathering to get into the boat and escape the world before Roland obliterates everything. In any case, the strolling tree demands that they should save their mates in obscurity. Aster. Roan also informs Thanos that he has successfully recovered the orb. Yet, since it has become so obvious that one of the vastness jewels is inside, he retreats from the arrangement they made and embeds the pearl in his demo hammer, promising to by and by pursue the distraught Titan after he obliterates Zendar inside the pirate transport. Peter is caught by Yandu, who starts thoroughly demolishing his previous accomplice, deciding to kill him in front of everyone right now. However, Quill is successful in persuading punk rock Megan to keep him alive by claiming that Gamora is completely aware of Ronan's military organization. As a result, they still stand a chance of stealing the crown jewel and causing the 4 billion units to soar at once. What's more, different gatekeepers show up at their boat and begin terminating, allowing them 5 seconds to return their companions. However, Peter is able to communicate with them and informs them that everything is fine. At the last minute, the Guardians and the Marauders come up with a plan despite the fact that Ronan wants to destroy Nova Planet and that the power jewel can destroy anything it touches. They should keep the dim Aster from arriving on Zendar. To do this, they intend to penetrate an opening in the cruiser's opening and spot 2 boats inside. Gamora, on the other hand, intends to use the Hoarder and Executor that Rocket created to eliminate the villain and retrieve the Infinity Jewel once and for all, because Ronan will likely lock himself in a very secure room. However, there is still one issue. The singularity cannot be touched by regular people. Several containment orbs that store the air distributed by Gamora. Peter notifies one of the arresting officers via text message in order to enlist Nova's assistance about Roman's appearance. However, since they don't answer, Watchmen and bandits should begin the assault alone. Drove by there, the Gathering fires 2 energy circles that accident into the power field and block the amorphous view, exploiting the hole to jump down and begin the assault from beneath. At the front, Rocket drives the Gathering liable for puncturing the frame of the spaceship, making room for their and Plume to enter. However, Ronan responds by sending thousands of Necro ships to fight back, eliminating the Marauders' leader. At the moment, the Nova troop at long last goes right into it and figures out how to kill every one of the flunkies, letting the Galactic Guardians into the Kree cruiser machine, as Gamora had predicted, firing at everything in their way. Nebula seals the security doors after realizing that the hull has been damaged and continues the plan from HQ Nova. Prime requests her soldiers to get into development and block the cruiser, making a power field to stop Roman's advance. Restless, the Pioneer orders his Necro boats to give themselves wholeheartedly to the city, imagining that the Nova troop will break from the formation to defend the citizens in this manner. Yet, the military keeps up with the power field, leaving Raccoon and the Raiders answerable for saving the regular people inside the dull Aster. While Gamora is in charge of cutting off the power, the Guardians move toward the deck. But Nebula appears to stop them, and near the deck, the 2 Fanny's daughters begin to fight with their futuristic counterparts. The remaining Guardians come face to face with the wrong army and begin to fight. In any case, because of Drax's tremendous strength and the Star Master's hotshots taken weapons, they figure out how to win easily. At this point, additional thugs appear. Additionally, Groot uses his abilities to pierce the soldiers' chests and toss them around like rag dolls from his cabin. Ronan uses the power jewel to break the force field after getting sick of waiting, detonating many boats without a moment's delay and clearing out the Nova troop to help her companions. Gamora resists the full energy discharge with a nebulous electric stick to disarm her and delivering a powerful kick that sends her sister flying from the ship, landing right on top of one of the pirate ships. At long last, free Gamora goes to the power supply and closes down the dim Aster's power. Ronan is able to withstand all of the damage from the Hadron's executioner and decides to respond with a blast from the power jewel after she opens the safety door for her companions to reach him. Sending everybody taking off, hauls rapidly, gets up and surges forward towards the group, who snatches him by the neck and starts to deride the passing of his significant other and little girl. Be that as it may, while he is talking, Raccoon chooses to strike back and tosses his boat at Roland, causing an immense blast in obscurity Aster, which begins to fall in order to shield his companions from the impact. Master stands out the entirety of his branches and gathers a wooden circle around the gatekeepers, forfeiting himself to retain the harm in their place, following the impact. The local populace approaches to offer assistance to the Guardians, but Ronan emerges unharmed and prepared to destroy the planet in the midst of the wreckage. However, while he delivers his last speech, Peter Plume begins doing another of his crazy moves, diverting the bad guy while the raccoon reassembles his Hadron agent. Also, Drax utilizes it to obliterate the mallet with the gem uncovered. In order to stop Roman from falling apart, the Star-Lord leaps in front of him and grabs the Singularity with his own hands. He also slowly erodes away Roman's body. Rocket, Gamora, and Drax touched the companion, dividing the damage into 4 parts and letting everyone survive. The Singularity under control and the power of the Infinity Jewel. When they use the gem to its full potential, they shoot an energy beam that directly hits Ronan and breaks up the villain's body. Instantly, Gamora keeps the jewel in one of her fears when Yandu shows up asking for it after the victory, despite the fact that he is aware that he will sell it to someone even more dangerous than Ronan Quill. Hands over one of Gamora's other capsules, causing the leader of the Marauders to take a plain, unattractive doll stuffed with things. They calm down as Nova Prime takes them to headquarters and reveals that Peter's ship has undergone numerous upgrades, in addition to removing all of their criminal records. At long last, the Watchmen of the Universe arranged a seedling with Gathering's branches and leave Zendar, with the Nova troop, safely escaping with the power jewel. That is essentially until the appearance of Thanos, the frantic Titan. Turn on notifications, please subscribe for more videos like this, and like the channel to support it. Thank you very much for watching.